Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. Okay, so I've got a message coming through regarding a third party, or maybe even from a third party. I'm not entirely sure that the term third party is the most accurate term to describe this person that I'm picking up on, because it seems to me that in this situation, this person either is a partner or was a partner, or if this person was a third party, they genuinely did not know that they were a third party or something like that. But that's just if this was a proper third party situation, which for a lot of you it is. But I think there is this kind of confusion, right, that's coming in about this, like calling this person a third party. I think for some of you that might be because for some of you, maybe this wasn't a proper third party situation. And what I mean by that is that there was no cheating here and there was no genuine interference coming in from this person. So this could be a case where maybe you were in a relationship and you viewed this person as a threat for whatever reason, or vice versa, where this person was in a relationship and maybe viewed you as a threat. It also could be that this is like the case of the ex, where maybe this person is an ex to somebody that you're with. Either you're dating this person or you're married to this person, or vice versa, where maybe you are the ex and this person is somebody that your ex has moved on with. And now this person is a partner or a spouse or something like that. But there was no, maybe even if this is like an ex situation, there's no like overlap here. It's like, well, there was one relationship and then there's another relationship, but you might still be processing through this. But I'm not sure that this is a third party situation. I feel like processing your relationship is more, processing, unless, take this however it resonates. Like I said, all of this is confusing, but the person that I'm picking up on here, or that spirit is illuminating, is very integral. This person has a lot of integrity. And not only that, but I feel like they have a strong focus on that integrity. And that is how this person navigated this situation. But it feels broader than that. It feels like the way that this person navigates their relationships in general. And for some of these people, it's just how they navigate through their life. But this focus that they have on integrity, it comes up through themselves first. They focus on being an integral person and being in alignment with their own values and principles. But they also have a strong focus on integrity when it comes to their partner or their partners in regards to different arenas in life. I think for most of you, you're asking about a romantic situation, but take this however it resonates, because like I said, I think the focus is the same in all areas of life. So this person is coming through to say, or spirit is illuminating that is why this person navigated this situation in the way that they did, is because they had this focus on integrity. But they're telling me it's also why they left this situation. So this person is saying, look, I'm very integral. I have a focus on integral. And this partner, whoever this person is, they did or said something that was out of alignment with what this person considers to be integral. And I think for a lot of you, it's cheating, but it also could have had something to do with a conversation or something like that. So this person handled themselves the way that they did. And then I feel like this person left. And however this person handled themselves, because I feel like there's some confusion around this. It seems to me that there's confusion around this person, but it feels like that confusion is not between these two people. Contrary to what you might have been led to believe. Both of these people understand why this ended. And both of these people understand that it's because this person that I'm picking up on has integrity, and that this other person doesn't have integrity, or definitely did not act from a place of integrity. That's clear here between these two people. But wouldn't you know, the person that lacks integrity misrepresented that situation. They did it either intentionally and overtly through having conversations, because there's some nod here to a conversation, at least one, that was not disclosed in some way, like either to this person. So that could have been a conversation with you, where they had a conversation with you behind this person's back, and then they spewed a bunch of nonsense in order to control the frame, in order to get you to see them a certain way and to get you to see this integral person. It's character assassination, right? So that could have been the case. But also I think there's a conversation that these two people had. And it seems to me like it's a conversation where things ended, or like they ended things. And that conversation I think has been warped or misrepresented or like omitted entirely from you. So it seems to me that there is a lot of confusion here about this integral person. But that confusion, like I said, it's around these two. And that confusion has to do with, okay, why did they do what they did? You know, what is their character? Who would do such a thing? Or why did this person leave? Or why did they leave? There's a lot of confusion here. And it feels to me like, again, character assassination, but that is emanating from a hole. Spirit is showing me this like hole where it just feels like something was just not included or skipped over or like left out. And that hole is, I'm hearing source, I'm hearing primary source. I feel like it is this integral person's side of things. It's their perspective, their first person lived experience that is missing here. So there's the reason why you and potentially other people are confused here is because you don't have information about this person, even if you think you have that information, because my hunch is that if you feel you have that information, it came from this unintegral partner who they're either because of, I feel like this would be as a result of manipulation or as a result of misogyny, racism, you know, something here like that, something arbitrary that doesn't actually link to somebody's worth, value, integrity, those kinds of things. It's either that they're the only narrator that was believed in this situation, which this person lacks integrity. So believe this person at your own risk, you know, or they're just the only narrator that is around because this integral person left. So I'm guessing that this person, when they speak about this situation, they take it upon themselves to relay this person, this integral person that handled themselves a certain way, that all this confusion is about, that they left the situation. This unintegral partner person that was left behind, I'm telling you this stuff because I'm just hearing motive. All I'm hearing is motive. They were left behind by this person. Motive. They've got motive to warp the story, to control the frame, to make themselves look better and to make this person look worse because the truth does not reflect that. And that seems to disadvantage this person. So they've taken it upon themselves, I think, to relay this other person's inner experience, their feelings, their motives, their values, you know, why they did the things that they did. When in reality, this person did the things that they did. It's actually very... there's a through line here. Actually, it's kind of like Occam's razor, like the most simple, answer or something usually is the right one. Like it's a very simple, this person is very integral. Something here did not line up with their integrity. And it could have been this treatment by the group where they're just not believed. And I think it's for some deeply unfair reason because this person, I think, they're just showing me, spirit is showing me, and this person is just telling me, I am very integral. I make it a point to be integral in my life, and it seems to count for nothing. You know, here, it doesn't matter. Somebody still can just smear my name. And because I'm a woman or because I'm black or brown, or I speak with an accent, or because I'm younger than this person, or because I haven't been at the company as long, I'm just not believed, you know, or whatever this is. And it does feel like this is a major wake up call where spirit is saying whatever ism is kind of going on here, because it feels kind of merged with that. It needs to stop. Okay. Because it's not in alignment with truth. So yeah, this person is saying, look, I just had to up and leave this situation. But so if you think you have information, I feel that information is tainted, and I feel like it advantages this unintegral person. And spirit wants me to ask you, does that shock you? That an unintegral person would advantage themselves and disadvantage someone else? Spirit wants me to just say, like, is this genuinely shocking to you? Like, so I feel like there's some kind of like lesson here of learning that. And maybe if you viewed this person as a threat and they were not actually a threat, because yeah, I'm going back to that now in my mind where I was saying, okay, well, maybe you were in a relationship and you viewed this person as a threat, or they were in a relationship and they viewed you as a threat. This is a very integral person. So if they viewed you as a threat, some wires got crossed here, because I feel like this person's like kind of fair and gives people the benefit of the doubt. But maybe if you were in a relationship and you viewed this person as a threat, you were disinclined to believe them or something here like that. I just feel like there was some kind of collusion with like your energy of why you kind of colluded with the wrong. And I feel like that kind of needs to be unpacked here. Okay. So that's one side. But also I just want to say spirit is saying that because this person navigates with integrity, the confusion energy here is a certain way. And I'm about to look at the flip side of it. Okay. So this confusion energy over here, this person would be confused as to why they weren't believed, as to why they were treated a certain way, despite giving so much love and possibly having so much love and feeling like they had so much love here. And I feel like this person had to leave in spite of love because they learned that integrity is something different. Integrity and love are not necessarily merged together all the time. So they, in processing this situation, and I feel like there's some nod to the use of the tarot here, they're doing that to process through, they're grieving the loss of what they thought, the reality that never was, the way that they thought the world worked. It's a kind of loss of innocence. There's a grieving here. And I'm also supposed to say that the anger coming from this space, anger is the second stage of grief, not that grief is a linear process. That anger is much higher vibrational and it serves a healing purpose compared to this other anger that I'm going to talk about. This is a productive kind of purging, processing, righteous, purifying kind of anger, whereby this person has had to get acquainted with reality. Oh, I'm not just going to be treated fairly. Oh, people have to get through their own mind before they can relate to me in any kind of genuine or authentic way. So in a way, there's a loss of innocence here. And that's the real grief of whatever's gone on here. It's like the way that they were treated and the way that I also feel like there's some frustration here about this person or possibly this group or multiple people that they had to deal with of it's almost like no matter how clear this person communicated themselves, it's like water off a duck's back over here. It doesn't really land. Or I don't understand why, your viewpoint of your actions is not in alignment with reality. Because it feels like there's a minimizing and there's a dismissing in order not to take direct accountability and then genuinely change behavior and actions in a way that's like measurable and that you and everybody else can see. Like I acknowledge this is wrong and so I'm like moving away from it or something that like everybody can see. And it's like kind of all built on control and maybe coercion and like manipulation tactics and possibly like this person, there could have been some form of like coercive control or something like going on around this person. They didn't get fair treatment even though they gave fair treatment. So there's like kind of a grieving going on here. So that brings me to like this other, I want to say third party. This other third party. I'm wondering if Spirit is using this term third party in order to highlight for the different people kind of tuned into this reading, the difference in their third parties, or I'm not sure. But just like I said with this first person that I'm picking up on, I'm not entirely sure that the term third party most accurately describes this second energy that I am picking up on here. And I feel like this second energy, it's either the energy of the partner or it's the energy of like the genuine third party. But again, they're giving me like, it's like compare and contrast. And I'm kind of just hearing third party associated with these two people, but it doesn't seem like maybe third party is the most accurate term. I don't know, do with that what you will. So this third party could not be more different than the first one, because the first energy that I was picking up on, again, they had the integrity, but their energy was that of the Queen of Pentacles, regardless of their gender. Their energy, regardless of the role that they played. They could have been a partner. They could have been in a committed relationship. They could have been a spouse or not. But their energy is one of the Queen of Pentacles, where for this other person, their energy is not. But they're focused on this Queen of Pentacles as a role. And I think in particular, a role that is in some way controlled and divvied out by a man, or like their relationship to a man. And this person, whereas the first energy was very focused on integrity. And that was like it's that focus on integrity that was kind of navigating them through their life. This second, I want to say again, like third party in air quotes, this person is motivated by competition. And because they're motivated by competition, that explains their actions in that situation and why they did what they did in a certain situation. But it also has to do with this confusion energy, because remember I said with this first person, I just kind of outlined their confusion. Well, the confusion over here for this person, because their focus is not on integrity, And they also don't focus on their own integrity first. And for those of you that have listened to my channel for a while, I talk about like the relationship between the north node and the south node and how to go after your north node. You have to come up through the south node. So it's that same relationship with the integrity. So because this person doesn't have a focus on their own integrity in this situation for sure, or in relationships in general, or like even in their life for some of these people, they definitely don't have a focus on their own integrity. They're not coming up through that space, and they're not considering the integrity of their partner. They're only just driven by competition. And I'm kind of getting for a lot of you that, well, actually, no. I'm getting that this could be like a masculine energy between these two, has this kind of trait. But I'm kind of getting that I'm hearing triangulation, and I'm hearing like, again, third party situation. And I'm seeing kind of a man in between two women. And I do feel that this man is in alignment with being driven by this competition. But I also feel like his karmic, like genuinely the karmic, like a genuine like third party here is also motivated by competition. But again, I'm not sure that that's the most accurate description of this person, third party, because this person may well be a partner. But if this competitive person is the partner, I have questions. Okay. For instance, like, did this person start off as a third party? Was this person like chosen? Because I feel like that's how they would look at this, like chosen to be a partner, but were they chosen last? Were they kind of hanging around, waiting for this person to wake up and find that what you're looking for has been here the whole time? But really they're just in some pick me energy, and they'll just contort themselves to be whatever this person is because they just want to win. That's what it is. They want to win. And they view winning as being a partner or winning some kind of role or, The other question is like, okay, is this a person who knows that their partner cheats and just kind of, lets them get away with it? Or is this a situation that there was some kind of baby trap situation, some kind of like accidental pregnancy? Because if the answer is yes to any of those questions, I feel like this shows some kind of pattern here in this person where insecurity is high and also pick me levels are high. Now that's kind of inflammatory thing to say, but I did hear somebody, they were talking about like the patriarchy, and they were saying that every woman who is raised in patriarchy, which it's just this invisible system, right, that just influences us, right? Every woman who is raised under patriarchy is on the pick me spectrum. They're somewhere on the pick me spectrum. So this first energy that I picked up on, because somebody here is motivated by integrity and they have this Queen of Pentacles energy, they are naturally the Queen of Pentacles. And I also feel like the way that they interact with commitment, this person is maybe very conscientious, which is like very duty driven. So if they leave a certain situation, they leave because actually they are committed. They believe very much in commitment. They just, they have to be careful who they commit to, because that can actually be kind of a dangerous situation. But I feel like that person has done more work on themselves, and they are lower down on that pick me spectrum. And because of that, they're actually more trustworthy, because if you're a woman, you've lived this, but like genuine feminist thought says you cannot keep pick me women around you. They're dangerous. They will betray you out of nowhere. They're a girl's girl, but only to certain women, and only when they don't feel threatened by them, or when, and I'm not saying you should keep somebody around you that you feel threatened by. Consider that person is a pick me, and that's why you feel threatened, is because they lack integrity. They don't care about being a good friend. They just want that man, and they just want that validation from having that man. So yeah, they'll betray you, It's that kind of energy that I'm getting off of this like second, third party, because they're motivated by competition, and they in some way want to or need to tear down either their romantic partner, and this is all very karmic, by the way, or a certain relationship in order for them to emerge the Queen of Pentacles. That's what they're thinking about. That's this winning kind of mentality. But this whole frame of winning is a very egotistical perspective, and I feel like Spirit is trying to highlight that, because the ego it thinks it's you, right? So it's all of our conscious traits, the traits that we own in ourselves. Okay, yeah, I'm this person, I'm that person, and I'm not these other traits, right? So there's other disavowed traits that this person and basically every other human is like, okay, well, I'm not that. And so this person's ego here is really running the show, and its definition of winning in this situation, regardless of what position this person is in, because I think for some of these people, they're partners. For some of them, they're a third party. For some of them, they started out as a third party and ended up a partner, or something here like that. But their ego would craft a I'm winning narrative, regardless of whatever it is. So if this person is a third party, it's, well, I'm winning because he's over here with me, because he sleeps with me, because he's cheating on you on a Friday night and you think that you're the Queen of Pentacles. Well, you're not. It's like tearing another woman down, you know? And that feels like a puff of a cigarette to this person's ego, because the way that this person is oriented, being so, I want to say like high on a pick-me spectrum and being so motivated by competition, is the way that they craft their self-worth, and the way that they craft their maybe even personality for some of these people, and their faux confidence, because none of this is real. It has to do with this competition over men and their relationship to men, and winning in regards of that. He chose me and not you. But they're the loser in this situation, because this other person, I want to say this other lady, or take this however it resonates, can see the truth in this situation because she's got her focus so much on integrity. And this competitive person just wants to win. They want to win this hunk of junk that is not integral, but maybe has something else that that makes him seem higher on the totem pole in terms of society. So maybe he's rich, or maybe he's athletic, or maybe he's attractive, or has, I think I already said rich, loads of money, status, his family is connected to people, something. And that could be like on any scale. So this competitive person is so blinded by their own competition, and it's so short-sighted, and it is devil energy, and it is an addictive energy, because it's just like taking that puff off a cigarette. It works for now, but it's not a long-term solution, and it ends up making you more nervous in the long run. And this all has to do with the karmas that are unfolding in this situation, because I feel like this integral person needed to cut off this partner. I do feel like that was them like kind of learning their karmic lesson, and it had something to do with love is not character. You know, love is not the same thing as integrity, or I can only control myself. And even though I am pouring in fairness and love, it's not a covert contract that guarantees that this person's going to return the favor, you know? So I feel like they needed to kind of cut that off. And in doing so, I feel like it made this partner, whether it's a romantic partner or somebody else, anxious. Maybe they were staying up late. Could have been something here to do with like time frame or authority, or feeling like restricted in some way, but there was some kind of like anxiety here. And maybe that ignited that competitive nature, that competitive, like I focus on competition in order to navigate through my relationships or my life just in general. And it made them very blind, and it made them very short-sighted. And possibly that's where they involved with another karmic who is like them, who is also not oriented towards integrity, and instead is more oriented toward competition. And I want to win, and I want to be seen as the winner. And that elevates my profile, or it elevates my status in some kind of way. And that is what is conceived as a win. But it's just devil energy kind of win. And then I feel that in this competitive nature, that's kind of the karma unfolding between these two, because this karmic that jumped into this situation, I think, was lied to by this person misrepresenting this integral person, but also some kind of conversation that went on here or didn't go on or something. They misrepresented a conversation. They lied by omission here to make this person seem like they were the winner. And I think it could be something like they begged this person, this integral person, to take them back. They made it clear that they wanted to be with this person, when they're giving this competitor that they've involved in the situation the impression that they've won. But I think this integral person knows better, because I think it was somehow communicated. I choose you. I want you. And I think this person made a different choice and walked away. And so it could be that whoever this competitor is that's been brought into the situation now is up in their head, and they're feeling anxiety because in some way, maybe it's been revealed, or now that they're kind of looking at this situation, but I feel like that's what some of these people could be avoiding. That's what their ego defense mechanisms, they like refuse to kind of acknowledge that that's like what's going on here. Some of these people I think maybe did know it from the start. They just didn't want to acknowledge it. They wanted to puff out their chest and act like they were chosen for a different reason, but for others, I think maybe some kind of truth has come out and now they're feeling like a fool. They're feeling very nervous because they're actually number 2. And this person kind of had to settle for them or they misrepresented this other person and they've kind of been made to look like a fool. They took actions. Again, karma means action. So like I said, there's karma unfolding here. So they've taken actions here that were not in alignment with reality. And so there's some kind of karmic situation where everybody is being asked to clear their involvement is what I'm getting. So this integral person, I think, was asked to move away. This anxious person, I think, was given some kind of time. There was this tick tock. There was like a lot of anxiety of, am I going to be integral? Or am I going to be competitive? And it might have had to do with revealing that some kind of conversation had taken place, or revealing what they left out in a certain conversation and how they were intentionally leaving out. Maybe they left out the part where they had a whole wife at home, or they had a whole baby, or like, something. They left out a whole chunk of information, or that they have this ex that's around or something, So it's TikTok. Are you going to be, there's like some kind of choice here. And, that's like their karmas. And then I feel like for this other competitive person, they have a karma of like looking before they leap. And that means having an eye on integrity, because that's how you basically see straight in this situation. And so this person is confused. These competitive people, which may well be a partner, and then this competitive third party that they involve with, because it feels to me like maybe it's 2 people here. But the confusion on this side has to do with they are confused about their own actions, and Spirit is trying to come through to illuminate those actions, because if you don't understand your actions, you can't clear your karmas. So I'm getting that they're confused as to who they are in this situation, because they're just trying to win. And so they can't be objective and they can't be neutral. Whereas it's hard for this integral person to be confronted with what they were confronted with, but they're able to be in that neutral space, and therefore to just see and admit the truth to themselves. I think they could have been in denial that there was in fact a third party here, or that this person could do that, because, I think it has to do with projection, and projection can work both ways, right? Where a negative person, like a narcissist, can project their negative qualities out onto somebody else. And maybe that's what happened here, like in a group dynamic. But also good people can project their good qualities out. And then it can be like a rug pull, or very shocking because I think this first person may well have projected their integrity out onto one or both of these other people where it doesn't actually exist. And they were thinking, well, they were so nice, or they love me, they would never do that to me. But integrity and love are 2 different things. You'd like to think that if somebody loves you, they would operate via integrity because they don't want to hurt you, but it's not always the case. So that was a hard lesson here for this first person. But for these other people, I feel like the hard lesson is yet to come, because their confusion, like I say, they like take tarot. Like in tarot readings, these are people that are going to have a very hard time figuring out who they are in this situation, genuinely. Admitting that they're competitive, and that they were short-sighted, and that they were unintegral in this situation. And then maybe somebody here has moved on for good reason, and that they misrepresented and character assassinated this person and stuff. That's hard for them to kind of deal with. And it is their ego trying to protect them and trying to hold them in a state of denial. And so this anger, remember I said the anger of the first person is kind of coming through, right? This anger is much different, because it's not productive anger. It's not healing anger. It is not anger associating with grief. These competitive people are grieving nothing. They're grieving nothing because they won't even let it land. What needs to land here? That, I think for the partner here, that they acted out of their integrity and they knew better, but also for this other person that was like kind of involved, I don't think that they actually won in the way that they think that they won. So to actually let that land would be an ego death, but the kind of ego death that brings liberation. But that would mean a watershed of tears. I feel like it would just be crying and crying and crying for days and for days and for days. And this person or these people seem higher on like a narcissism spectrum. I feel like this might even be dangerous for these people to kind of cry. They're really not well versed in kind of ushering themselves through a process like this, because all their energy is kept keeping this from landing. Because if this lands, there's a huge emotional content of, it's this competitiveness is a symptom, not a root cause. Beneath the competitiveness is like some kind of feeling of deep inferiority. And they would feel that, and they would have to process that. That would be the actual grieving process. This grieving process of this posturing as the winner, or posturing as a Queen of Pentacles, somebody stable, somebody in order to win, and having it not be their genuine essence. And I think there could have been something here about this first person as well, for especially this person who involved in this situation. There's something about this person's natural Queen of Pentacles energy, if not, reflected in their natural position here, that they were somebody's actual Queen of Pentacles, like commitment partner, that it was almost the supply. Narcissists feed off of supply, and sometimes they can feed off of sadistic supply. So it's like the supply of overtaking this Queen of Pentacles was almost too good to resist. And I feel like that's where you've got a spiritual test coming in here. That's a spiritual test, because you have to admit that that person's the Queen of Pentacles and they left. What the fuck am I doing here? Fighting over a Queen of Pentacles position in a place where an actual Queen of Pentacles, in their essence, not necessarily in their role, but in their essence, said, nope. It's all driven by competition. So it makes this person clouded and confused and short-sighted. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. But that is what I've got coming through here. So I'm going to leave that there. If that resonated, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys.